Okay, let us start. Kayena vacha chittena pamadena maya katang achayang kamame bante buri panya tathagata kayena vacha chittena pamadena maya katang achayang kamame dhamma sanditika akalika kayena vacha chittena pamadena maya katang achayang kamame sangha supatipanna anuttara sa 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 namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa buddhang saranang gacchami dhammang saranang gacchami sanghang saranang gacchami tisarana gamanang paripunang panatipata veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami adina dana veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami abrahmacharya veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami musawada veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami Sura meraya macha pamadatana veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami vikala bhojana veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami nacha gita vadita visukadasana malaganda vilepana dharana mandana vibhusanatana veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami Uchasayana Mahasayana Veramani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyami idang me silang magapala nyanasa pachayo hotu appamadena sampadeta sa. Right, let us do some guided karuna. Now let us all relax. Let go of the vipassana objects. Keep the mind open, calm, and peaceful. Clear from all your thoughts. Whatever tension, tightness of the body, imagine we let it all go. Relax from top of the head. Relax the forehead. Relax the face and neck, shoulders and arms, chest, stomach area, spine, back, down to the hips, the buttocks, down to the thighs, to the knees, the calves, ankles, soles, toes. So relax the body, keep the mind calm, open and peaceful. Now let us start off by imagination. Imagine that we are in a hospital ward. And perhaps you look around, there are people going through various types of sickness, illness, and also various types of mental illness too. Then as we stand there, we wish them to be free from all their suffering. We wish them to be able to be healed from all their mental and physical suffering. And with that compassion, we bring back to ourselves. Bring the compassion here. Whatever mental suffering I'm going through, may I be free from all this suffering. Whatever physical pain I'm going through, illness or sickness, may I be free from all this physical pain. Whatever pain, whatever physical suffering or mental suffering I go through from day to day, due to work, due to the change of weather, seeking for food, to our career, job, and so on. May I be free from all this suffering. And whatever suffering due to the cycle of birth and rebirth, due to old age, due to sickness, death, and rebirth, may I too be free from all these sufferings. Whatever mental suffering I'm going through, may I be free from all this suffering. Whatever physical suffering I'm going through, may I too be free from all these sufferings and all this pain. Whatever suffering I go through from day to day, may I too be free from all these sufferings. Whatever suffering I go through due to the cycle of birth and rebirth, may I too be free from all these sufferings. Now let us spread our karuna to all the beings around here, monks and nuns, yogis, to the helpers, workers, volunteers, donors, to all the guardian devas of this place, to all other devas surrounding, residing here in this neighborhood, to all the petas, the unfortunate beings, and also to all the animals, seen or unseen, big or small. May all of us here, whatever mental suffering we are going through, may we all be free from all this suffering. Whatever physical sickness or illness we are going through, may we all be free from all this sickness and pain. And whatever suffering we go through from day to day, may we all be free from all these sufferings. And whatever suffering we go through from the cycle of birth and rebirth, due to the cycle of birth and rebirth, may we all be free from all these sufferings. Now let us expand further. Let our compassion reach out to all the beings in this country. May they be humans or non-humans, devas or petas, to all the animals, big or small, far or near. May all beings in this country whatever mental suffering they are going through, may they all be free from all those sufferings. Whatever physical suffering that they are going through, may they too be free from all these sufferings. And whatever suffering they go through from day to day, due to whatever reasons, whatever circumstances, may they too be free from all those sufferings. And whatever suffering due to the cycle of birth and rebirth, may they too be free from all these sufferings. Now let us reach out further. Reach out to all beings in this world, without exception, without boundary. May they be our loved ones near or far away, or to those whom we do not know wherever they are. and to those whom we dislike or those who dislike us. To all the guardian devas of the sasana, to all other devas residing in this world, to all the petas, seen or unseen, or to all the animals, big or small, far or near, seen or unseen. May all beings in this world, may they all be free from all their suffering that they are going through. And whatever mental suffering that they are going through, may it be anger, jealousy, fear, sadness, may it be free from all these sufferings. And whatever physical suffering, illness and pain, may they too be free from all these sufferings. And whatever suffering due to the cycle of birth and rebirth, may they too be free from all these sufferings. May all beings in this world able to live in peace and not in war, live with kindness and compassion, and not in cruelty or violence. Whatever suffering they are going through, may all beings in this world be free from all these sufferings. Now let us expand. Now let us reach out our compassion, imagine without boundary, as far as it can go, to all beings in this universe or universes, to all the beings from the highest planes of existence down to the lowest planes of existence, and to all the beings in all the world systems. May all beings without exception, wherever they are or whatever they are, whatever mental suffering they are going through, may they be free from all these sufferings. And whatever physical suffering that they are going through, may they too be free from all this suffering. Whatever suffering they go through, from day to day, or moment to moment, may they too be free from all these sufferings. And whatever suffering they go through, due to the cycle of birth and rebirth, may they too be free from all these sufferings. Whatever suffering they go through, may all beings be free from all their sufferings. May all the suffering ones be suffering free. May all the suffering ones be suffering free. And slowly we let go of the compassion, Bring the mind back again to the present moment, to the body, to feel the rise and fall of the abdomen. Feel the sensation of the body. Then we can slowly open our eyes. Yeah, let's start the talk. That day we talked about the arousing of the joy from what? Buddha, the Dhamma, the Sangha. Yeah? Now I said I go through a little bit of it. We cannot go through all of it. If we go through all of it now, it's impossible we can able to uh, finish the talk. It's impossible. Uh, because those things are minutely, one after another. There can be a lot of talks, a lot of things. So we cannot go through all of them. So tonight we'll look into another 3 or 4 more of recollection. Another 4 more of recollection. Uh, uh, so that day we talk about Buddha, the Dhamma, the Sangha. What do I want to talk about now? Yes, when talking about the Sangha, here it will be good that, when reflecting on the qualities of the Sangha, it's not reflecting on an individual monk or individual nun. This is a collective quality, all right? It's called a collective quality, not a single person quality. Sometimes devotees tends to favor certain monks or certain teachers. This is understandable. This is understandable. Not to say that you are wrong or whether you are absolutely right or so. Perhaps unless the person is the Buddha, or Arahants. But how do you going to know Arahant? That's another thing. So it's hard for us to know exactly who are the enlightened ones. So it's not possible unless you are enlightened yourself. Even you enlighten yourself doesn't mean that you know another person who is enlightened now. With that also, you must have a certain capability of the mind. That one also another story. Let's not dwell into it too much. Then, as I said, when you're reflecting on the qualities of the Sangha, it will be good that we reflect on the its noble qualities, not individual qualities. Because individual qualities are sometimes you may get disappointed. Sometimes you may get disappointed because sometimes when you reflect on his or her quality, then one day you see the bad side of the person, the horrible side of the person, or the change, And then after all your faith and all your joy also all shaken up. So it'd be good that we reflect on the overall qualities of the Sangha. Even I say it's easy, but a lot of people it's not that easy. It's not that easy. Anyway, let's go on to the next one. Recollection on generosity, recollection on virtue, and recollection on the qualities of the deities or the devas. Recollection on generosity. Let's start off with virtue first. Recollection on virtue. Now, recollection on virtue here, these are like your precepts, for example. Or also, these are also concerning of your certain wholesome qualities. Now you see, like precepts, it's a lot of things like to avoid. Yeah? But in virtue also, there are things to be done. That means there are to prevent, to avoid, and also to do. Yeah? To do here means like your respect, right? Gratitude, like listen to the right teachings, sharing of merits, rejoicing of other merits, uh, this type of things, strengthening one's view, and so on. All the 10 uh, kusala karma, dasa kusala karma, the 10 meritorious actions. So those things are some of them to prevent, some of them also to perform. Yeah? So when you perform it, also it is part of your action. So it's part of action, it's part of, in a way, it's your virtue, it's your discipline, it's your inclination. Yeah? That also is very good. Yeah? So reflecting on the virtue, well, say for example, you are in the state of meditation. Things doesn't go smoothly right now. Things are not clear. Things are dull. Rising, falling is not clear. In breath, out breath, everything not clear. Walking also feels dull. And then here sometimes you bring back to the past. Recall those times that you exercise virtue. What did you do? Perhaps you may remember what? Maybe you see some ants there. You take up, you use your hand and to put it aside. You feel good at that time. I mean, during the sitting, you feel good because this time it makes things very clear for you. Maybe that time, at that time while you are doing it, I say, oh, yeah, so many ants, terrible. But then after that, you say, after you reflect back, hey, yeah, I didn't kill them. Yeah, it's a virtue. Yeah, whether you take your precepts or you don't take your precept, that is another matter. Because at that time you prevent it, or you're supposed to exercise whether you're supposed to speak a lie or you speak the truth when you are demand at that moment of time. Then you recall back to certain incidences that you actually speak the truth rather than you tell a lie or even a white lie. You speak the truth at that moment of time. So you recall back again, then you find that it gives you joy. For some people, this type of recollection, it may give you joy, it may not give you joy. It depends. Certain incidences, perhaps in the past, then it gives you joy. Yeah? Or you can reflect that since I become a Buddhist, a proper Buddhist, let's say, I've been observing my precepts well or as best as possible. When I was much younger, the teacher used to say, as humanly as possible. As humanly as possible, that means there is a place to break, as humanly as possible. That time I didn't think of it too deeply, But after a while, I think humanly as possible. Oh, kind of like a gray area. So, no. So sometimes when there are people, there are devotees who are inclined into this morality, so they keep their precepts as best as possible. They don't realize it that at that moment of time, it gives them joy. in the beginning part, when you are striving, or you become a Buddhist, or you begin to take up the precepts more seriously, yeah, then that time you feel a lot of suffering, because things that you used to able to do ignorantly or whether, then you already prevent yourself from doing all these type of things. Perhaps maybe you like to drink, you love to drink, uh, you love to drink, all these type of things. I'm sure that some of you are, giving talks and so on. Then there are devotees who will come sometimes. They will ask you, teacher, a little bit can or not? A little bit only, not make me, uh, not make me, not drunk and so on. A little bit can or not? Just for socializing. That is your answer. I'm not going to answer that. But when we learn to draw the line, when we learn to draw the line, you see, here, when we draw the line here, when we acknowledge that it is a fermented drink, let's say, when we draw the line here, the precept says that if you only get drunk, it's a breaking of precept now. But for a monk, whether you know it or you do not know it, anything that contains alcohol, you already broken the precept. Yeah. For a bhikkhu, and of so whether you realize it or you don't, it's already broken the precept. Yeah. But it's a minor precept. Even it doesn't make you mabuk or drunk or anything. Yeah. Some Buddhist devotees, when they take up their precept, they take up strictly the precept. No fermented drink means no fermented drink. Yeah. No lying means no lying. Always speak the truth. Yeah. No sexual misconduct means no sexual misconduct. Stay faithful to whatever your partner. No stealing, even a single cent also is not yours, also you don't touch it. Uh, uh, no killing also, as best as possible, as whatever that you can, you consciously you don't do it. Unconsciously, that's different thing. Consciously, you don't do it at all. So with this, they do that. Then some devotees, then they exercise that. When they recall back those type of virtue that they exercise throughout their life again and again, it brings them great joy, so much great joy. And not only talking about future karmic resultant, happy resultant, and so on. That one is another thing. But this time, you use it just to stir up whatever, so much of virtue that you have kept. You recall them, it gives you so much joy. All you need to do is just few seconds here. It doesn't need so sit down and think and think. If you keep on thinking and thinking, that means nothing much already. It's like, you inside a big bundle, Oh, no, like a big tong. Yeah. If those people are full one, they just put the hand inside, just kick up. There they are already. For those nothing one, you go inside there. Huh? Oh yeah. Then you take up something. Yeah. For those who already just simply just roll it up. There's something for you to see already. There's something for you to notice already. Yeah. So if you able to do that from your years and years and years as a Buddhist, and you have been following the teaching of the Buddha, just recall them, and it's been very helpful. Yeah. Some of the things. There are also that yogis that come in, like for example, they take up the sixth precept. When they take up the sixth precept, there are yogis who are like after after lunch, they already wash their mouth, flush and all that, and the floss, not flush, floss, floss and everything, and to remove every small little bits of food already, Uh, even that some of them, like you meditate at 2 or 3 o'clock, then some small minor food dislodge out from in between the teeth also. They don't swallow. They go outside and pooey. Yeah. But actually, according to Vinaya, as long as it's in your mouth, food already digested. That means it's already begin to digest already. That means it's already this one. But sometimes some yogis they say that the food is in the mouth is still the food, hasn't go into the throat yet. You see, the way how they observe precept, with that, now some people give rise to happiness in them. They give rise to happiness in them because they exercise their precepts well taken care of. When it comes to the monks, when it comes to the bhikkhus, the Buddha many times it says like to keep the precept as pure as possible, like a conch shell. During the Buddha's time, those things are like well polished, naturally polished, naturally shining. If you put it under the light, it kind of dazzle or it has the iridescent or different colors coming out, the conch shell, very well polished. So the Buddha used the Vinaya of a monk to be as clean as that shell in that this one. So we exercise it. But the thing is that so many rules, sometimes you, without realization, you also may able to break one rule or another. So that's why there is in the monk's place, we have confession. We have confession, various types of confession. So, so with that, for some yogis, after not some yogis, some monks after the confession, they feel purified again. It's just like some yogis, they after they take the 5 precept or 8 precept as if like they go for a bath. They feel clean. They feel kind of like because of the faith in observing the precept. Some of us do not have that. Take precept, Some of us may not have that type of feeling. It is okay if you don't have that type of feeling, as long as you don't go and kill, steal, or whatever. So doesn't have that feeling is perfectly all right. Some people, some Buddhists, they do have that. When you talk about this type of faith and joy and Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha, these type of things, actually, when we are in a non-Buddhist country, we don't see that strongly. We only see that when you are in your own Buddhist society, in your own group of this one. When you go out there, not so much. But when you go into the more Buddhist countries, then you see this type of faith and joy so much more pronounced. Even like they have like they're trained from young. They train from young. They act, how they speech, how their speech towards the respected ones, the venerable ones, or the sangha, or to their parents, or to the society. A lot of them they are trained from the young, and also because of their nature of their culture, and the culture is very much Buddhist into it, so because of that, their character becomes much more refined. Now, with that, also, as I said, virtue side also is not just on the things that you prevent, but also things that you done. Some of it falls under generosity. We can talk about it a bit later. But some of it is like you're able to pay respect. Sometimes you go to where? India. You go for your pilgrimage. You go for your pilgrimage and then you visit the various Buddhist sites. And you're supposed to, when you go there, you're supposed to go there. You have a, a lot of like uh, faith and joy that comes up with it. Faith and joy comes up with it. But sometimes, so some devotees a bit emotional. They go to the Buddha site, especially the Kusinara, they go there and cry, Buddha. It's already gone 2,500 years. You still there, cry and cry. No lah. We understand because again here when they don't really understand the Dhamma, then they fall into this type of sadness. Yeah. So a lot of people, they fall into this type of sadness, which we understand. But actually, you're not supposed to do that. Actually, when it comes to the Buddhist side, there must be like kind of like a spiritual joy or spiritual equanimity. Yeah, the spiritual equanimity. That means you come to a place like, especially Kusinara, you come to the mind that the mind is balanced in the center. Not to say you're happy, but the most important thing, not don't go into sadness. There's come into understanding. There's a the Buddha says anicca vata sankhara. Uh, all all conditioned phenomena are impermanent. Yeah? Yeah. So something like that. We come to that type that we have a spiritual this one. But there are places that give you spiritual joy, that you are happy. Perhaps that the first time you went to what's that enlightenment place? Bodh Gaya. Sorry, we went to Bodh Gaya, and then the joy arises. Joy arises. But then again, here you must be careful with that joy become too much. The joy must be there's a bit of joy, but it's more of a controlled joy. It's a controlled joy. Don't becomes overwhelmed by it. But if you are not usually not a meditator, so to speak, usually we are overwhelmed by this type of things, especially as Buddhist devotees, they go to these type of places, they are kind of overwhelmed with this too and too much joy, or sometimes sadness comes in. So here when we visit this type of place, the Buddha says that you give rise to a lot of faith. And also again here a lot of joy also. So here again, while you're meditating, things that you to do, that means you visited a pilgrimage site, you recall it back to remind yourself that you've been there and it gives you so much joy. Now with that joy, when you get it during in your meditation, then after that, let go of the thinking already, let go of the recalling. Just bring the joy over, connected it to your rising and falling, sitting, touching, then things become clear. Now, the problem is that with this type of recalling, a lot of times we do not know when to stop it. We let it go and go and on and on and on and on because meditation no fun anymore, It should go on and on and on and on. After that, it goes into restless mind. Yeah? You can go into restless mind because this the nature of the joy. In the factors of enlightenment, they fall under the energetic group. They fall under energetic group. So all you need to do is make sure that the joy just arises a little bit, then give rise to your meditation. So all you need sometimes, all you need to do is just maybe a minute or two, and that's about it. You don't have to think so hard because these things are very clear to you. So it would be good that for those people who have faith and also follow the Buddha says that at least must go and visit the pilgrimage site uh, once in a lifetime. If you have to go through all the stomach ache and diarrhea, go through it lah. I went there both times also some some food poisoning and so on, but still go through it. Then these are the things, so some of the things like maybe at certain time you listen to certain Dhamma talk, it give you a lot of joy, a lot of understanding. Sometimes you recall it back, that type of joy to bring it back. Yeah? Uh, so here this type of joy is recollection on the virtue. The recollection of when something is wholesome that you are actually doing, or you preventing all the unwholesomeness, such as like your precepts. So you recall them back. Yeah. Now, when you recall these things, make sure it's more of a spiritual things, spiritual actions, spiritual things, not worldly things, not your worldly people. Say, for example, you come here, then you recall. Oh, you recall your granddaughter, your grandchild. Oh, I'm so happy. That one is not. That's although it gives you joy, but that's a very worldly joy, very attached type of joy. You remember you strike 4D. Oh, so happy. That also is not. First time you get your job, you can get paid. No. At first you get married. No. Not that type of joy, not that type of joy, not those type of things that you perform on in the worldly level. You don't can recall those back because those type of joy, they are connected with uh, unwholesome mental states. They are connected with some greed and some desire there. You recall your chuchu. Then after that, the joy is in the beginning, but what happened after that is that, are they okay or not? Are they good or not? Should I call them or not? Then the mind cannot settle already. So all these things uh, it can be terrible. So don't go into the worldly things. It's on the spiritual things, on the spiritual action, spiritual speech, something like that. Something wholesome. Uh, okay. So this is recollection on the virtue. Now, the next recollection is recollection on generosity. Generosity here, it can be any form of generous act. It can be you give something or you give your time or a certain action. It can be fall under a little bit on virtue or generosity. It's perfectly fine. You don't have to draw a very clear line with it. Because this time, what we need to do is again recall them back. The generosity, usually for Buddhist devotees, generosity, we have a lot. We have a lot. Sometimes our generosity, when we do certain things, we are very happy. Sometimes you also already forgotten about it. I did that. I didn't know. Yeah. Now, sometimes, for example, there are, when it comes to generosity at time. Sometimes people like to, when they give something, they like to put their name on the wall there, right? or the name on the book there. Sometimes you have to look it differently, It's not just for fame or gains. Some people, yes. But if you want to put it, you put it more in a positive manner. Because when you do this dana, maybe 10 years down the road, you see your name there. Suddenly you come back, you see that, oh, I'm so happy I did that dana. Isn't it? I mean, you look at it more positively, yeah. If you want the fame, is your ulterior motive is just for fame because you want to let everybody know that you are rich, then by you do that, of course, it is it is tainted. But a lot of times, it's also good. I mean, it's good that sometimes we donate something. These type of small little things, it help us to recall back. We recall back that we did these actions before in the past, and we were happy about it. It kind of give you it stirs you up. Uh, at one time, I was going tour, you know, into spiritual places in Burma, go tour. Then it come to a place. It's quite in the hill, and it's quite a nice place actually. Bin Ulwin, Memyo. And it's a bit further from the town, and then there's a cave. So the cave also visited by tourists and people alike. Then as a Buddhist, then they have like Buddha statue here and there and being carved by and whoever donated, they put the statue there. They put the name and the statue of the Buddha there. So I was walking, looking at the name. Suddenly I saw Sayadaw Nyanya Ponika of Nepal. Of all the places, suddenly you see his name there. So I take a photo, send it to him. He couldn't remember, but because of we sent it the name for him, then he could able to remember. Oh yes, long ago, long ago. So these kind of things, a lot of things we forget, that certain act of generosity that we may have forgotten. So it would be good that sometimes certain things help us to remember. But there will be sometimes certain actions that you have done in your past that you remember it vividly. And that is good because that will be helpful during in the meditation retreat. Don't use it all the time. Use it some of the time. Because after use it all the time, no effect anymore. Because you know it's going to come, But once in a while, you recall them back. Certain action, like perhaps you went to a place, then the first time you do a pindapat, an alms round, you offer food to the monks. You stand there or you squat there, the monks, or you kneel down at that time, the monks are passing through, then you offer some food to them. Then that time you feel so happy. That type of happiness is very important. And then you remember that joy. Yeah, you remember that joy, bring it to your meditation sit. Then it's helpful. Yeah? Yeah. So a lot of times, sometimes it can be also things like perhaps that time maybe you are not a Buddhist yet. Perhaps you are just helping places, people are in the difficulties or people in the dire straits, people have going through hard time and you are there to help and to elevate their suffering, to remove all their suffering in small ways or big ways. You feel happy about it. You feel good about it. Feel good about it. That is wonderful. Remember that, then you bring it back to your meditation. So some of these things, again here, is all about recalling. You recall back. So that's why, as I said, this type of recollection, you cannot train right here. That one you already at home before you come for retreat now for years and years and years. Hopefully you have done something. Hopefully you have done something wholesome. You change certain people's life for the better. You offer something. You did something. Then it'll be very good. Yeah. So try to recall what are those things that you can able to give rise to that joy. So here again, although I talk so much already, it's actually while you're doing it, it's just only doing it 1 minute only, or maybe 30 seconds only. Just enough for the joy to break, for the joy to arise. Don't underestimate this type of recalling, because this type of recalling, if you don't stop it, even the wholesome type one, start off with a lot of joy, wholesome, and then it can carry on with another thought, wholesome. It can carry on, then after they carry on and on, then it starts to go into some other thoughts on which is not connected with your wholesome thing anymore. Then it goes into all kinds of thinking, then you end up with restless mind also. So there is a limit. There is a limit. Um, a lot of times, teachers may not want you to do like this because they are afraid yogis goes into too much thinking because they overshoot all those things. But it is mentioned in the text, within the 7 factors of enlightenment, they mentioned what are the things that can be helpful. So one of the things that can be helpful is this, recalling of a virtue, recalling of a generosity. Uh, so the next one, recalling on the qualities of the devas. Most of us cannot see the deva. How are we going to recall the quality? We believe the devas are there. We believe. We believe the devas are there. By certain of our deduction and understanding, we believe that it is there. The Buddha said it is there. You see, for me, although I don't have to see the devas, but I believe what the Buddha mentioned. Because a lot of things that I've done following the teachings of the Buddha, I've seen it. What the Buddha said, I've mentioned it's a lot of things. So there are a lot of things what the Buddha mentioned, I still cannot able to penetrate or see it. So because of that, because of the certain deduction of that reasoning I have, then in my heart, the devas are there. In my heart, but how they arises, how they come and not, that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. But in the recollection of these qualities of the devas, it's like the qualities for them, for they're able to reborn as a deva. It's the qualities. How, because of certain qualities that they have, they reborn as a deva. So you reflect with the deva because they have done generosity in the past, because of their virtue in the past, or because of their meditation in the past, because of their gratitude in the past, because of their certain things that they have done in the past. In the commentaries, they call it Vimana Vatu. It talks about this is a commentaries. It's one of the 72 books of the Dhamma. In that, it shows how a person reborn in the Deva realm. And then within the first 1 or 2 stories, it's so as simple as that. That this person, how she reborn in as a Deva realm, she laid down a piece of cloth for a monk to sit. And because of that action only, pop Deva already. how much dana have you all done? How much meditation have you all done? How much virtue have you all done? Yeah. But also, of course, how much unwholesomeness that you have done also. Yeah. Yeah. Now, according to those type of, how they reborn as a deva, just doing that small action, they already reborn as a deva with a very shining and glory already. Yeah. But whatever, that's what the book says, Again here, reborn as a deva, the principle here is that they have already done a lot of good deeds. A lot of good deeds also, other words also, they prevent a lot of unwholesome actions too. And not only performing the wholesome deeds, but also prevent the unwholesome deeds too. So because of that, recall, some people have the qualities can able to be connected with these devas, or actually they could actually see the devas. Because they could see these devas, they understand that these devas are very different body from like us. Their body is much more refined, much more this one, much more glorified. Uh, like a deva, I mean a higher ram deva, when a certain higher ram deva look at all of us, it's like looking at how we look at the pigs rolling on the mud there, and then the pig say, "Well, I'm beautiful, I'm nice, I'm so good, go good, you smell so well," and so on. That's how the devas look at us. How we look at the pigs like that. Yeah. So if we compare among the human world, when we look at that, and when we look at that devas, then we know that what qualities are so so rough. Then you know that the devas have such a refined state, refined, even their body is so refined in that sense. So therefore, because of that, they done a lot of good deeds to reborn in that place. So reflect on those qualities, the qualities of faith, perhaps, qualities of virtue. They have done a lot of virtue. So too in this life, I reflect, I have too have done a lot of this virtue. They have done a lot of this um, generosity. So too in this life, I've done a lot of generosity. So the qualities that they have, you look into yourself, you also have this quality. And you also have this quality. So this is how you reflect on the qualities of the devas. Again, here, some of you have no connection with the deva. If you have nothing much, perhaps, you recall nothing much. But some people, just because you don't have, doesn't mean everybody don't have. Some people may have those things. So you may recall, for example, in the Buddha Dhamma Sangha, the Buddha's quality, he give happiness, joy to you. Dhamma Sangha, you may not able to do it. Uh, uh, some people, the Dhamma is better. The first one, the third one, not so good. Some people, the Sangha better, but not the first one, not the second one. So different people have different inclination. Okay, even yourself, different timer has also different inclination. Buddha Nurasati may work for you this time, but 5 years down the road, perhaps the Dhamma is better for you, or perhaps the Sangha is better for you. Perhaps again this time the generosity helps. Arouse a lot of joy. But 5 years down the road, the virtue actually gives rise more joy. So each person may change also, but depending on the certain condition and inclination. So It doesn't really fix in that way. So sometimes if you know a little bit of all these things, all you need to do is just to pull them out a little bit from your vast wholesome deeds that you have done in the past. Just recall them back a little bit, see whether it gives rise to joy or not. Uh, uh, so this is a sixth one. The seventh one, now that one is a bit more difficult. This is called the recollection of peace. Upasama. Upasama is peace. Upasama nusati, recollection on peace. So the recollection on peace here, it's connected with the qualities of nibbana, not just any peace. Then you say, meditate, rising, falling, the bowl, go, nibbana. Rising, falling, nothing much. Walking, nothing much. Nibbana. Again, here, this is not about you. This is again here is about qualities. Again, this type of qualities you have to listen to what the Buddha wrote in the suttas, or what the Dhamma talks is being given. Here what the Buddha gave about the qualities is this. For example, they use the word deathless. Deathless, no death. They use the quality of what's the birth? No birth. Yes. Non-arising or something like that. Deathless, non-arising, cessation, extinction of greed, hatred, delusion. So many other qualities. Sometimes the Buddha used the word safety, peace, extermination of thirst, the craving, extermination of craving, tanha. So a number of qualities the Buddha gave us. Some people, when they recall this type of qualities of enlightened one, or this nibbana, it gives them happiness. Or sometimes some people give them peace, calm. Some devotees give them happiness. If it give you happiness, then it's good. Then again, do the same thing. Then back again to once the joy comes up, then let go of the peace. Let go of the reflection on the qualities of the nibbana. Then back again to the meditation. So you see, this type of meditation, a recollection partner, this is only use it for a short period of time. Although a short period of time, it can be very helpful. It can be very helpful just to what I use the word, to oil your vipassana. To oil it a little bit better, so that you make things slightly more smoother. We are not talking about jhana here, deep jhana and so on. No. Sometimes you just skillfully just change it a little bit, then it becomes very helpful. Now, in the past, all this type of meditation, I try already. Try. Because I got time. I got no time. Work. Money a lot. Yeah. So I got time. Try. Yes, some meditation I'm more inclined to. Some meditation I try, there's some result, but I'm not so inclined to that. So it all depends on you. All depends on you. So how do we do this type of meditation? Although on Saturday we talk about it a little bit. As I said, that when you want to do this, some people, they start off with in the beginning of the day, because that particular type of thing, then they recall it, it gives rise to alertness, to clarity, to some elation of the mind. Then the mind goes, after that, goes into vipassana, and it can be very helpful. It stirs up the mind right in the early morning itself. Uh, Sometimes, if the meditation is going well, that means you're rising, falling, walking, sitting, everything you feel that is quite connected, the mindfulness is going smoothly, then make sure that don't bring all these things to come in and disturb. Now, your main priority is to make sure that you know how to note all your objects of your vipassana and clearly. Yeah? So as long as those things, recollection, if you just do a little bit and then it brings up to the clarity, give you the clarity, then it's well and good. Okay? Then after that, you drop it back again to vipassana again. Sometimes you may need to do it slightly a little bit longer. Do it a little bit longer, maybe like 5 more minutes, sometime for some people, just to arouse that energy for the day. Some people just need 30 seconds only. Some people need a little bit more. But usually, if your things are going quite well, all you need to do just a little bit earlier. Just recall a bit. Just within like 30 seconds, 1 minute, it's enough already to bring about that joy. Uh, uh, So make sure that these things are not doing throughout the whole day. You don't do it every sitting if you are in the as a yogi here. But when you are at home, you can do that. It's not a problem. You can start off with some recollection first, then only you start off with some vipassana. You can do that, no problem. You want to stay for the whole hour or 30 minutes at home for all the recollection, also can, no problem. Because after all, you got day after day after day after day after day after day after day. So sometimes you can spend like a week to do the recollection. Well and good. You want to spend 2 weeks to do some recollection, also fine. Then after that, you want to switch back to vipassana, also okay. Because here you develop some skills. You develop some good skills. So while we are here, your priority, and also you don't have much time, then we prioritize the vipassana first. So this type of recollection is just to substitute a little bit when the mind is dull or when the mind is bored. Then we build up the mind. Okay. So tomorrow we're going to summarize a little bit on the joy. After that, we're going to move on to the next factor of enlightenment. Okay, we'll stop here. We share merits. Idang me bhavanang nibbanasa pachayo hotu. May my mental cultivation be a condition for the realization of nibbana. Imang no punya bagang sabba satanang dema. We share these merits with our departed ones, with all beings and all the devas. Sabbe satta sukhi hontu anumodantu. May all beings be happy. May they rejoice in these merits. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.